The Japanese secret that activates cellular cleansing, burns fat, and reverses muscle aging. Did you know there's a mechanism inside your body working at this very moment that could be the difference between aging with vitality or withering away in chronic diseases? You just need to know how to activate it. In 2016, the medical world stopped to recognize a revolutionary discovery. Japanese scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi received the Nobel Prize not for creating a miracle drug or developing an advanced surgical technique, but for unveiling a process that has existed inside you since the day you were born. This process is called autophagy. You don't need expensive medications, imported supplements, or complex treatments to activate it. Everything you need is within your reach right now. But there's a catch. There's a mistake that most people make every morning, a mistake so common that you probably made it today, that literally turns off this cellular rejuvenation switch. In the next few minutes, you'll see how the Japanese, who, as we always say on this channel, have the world's largest population of centenarians, discovered how to keep it naturally active. And at the end, I'll reveal the exact protocol that Japanese doctors over 100 years old used to live with mental clarity and energy until the last day of their lives. Before we begin, please tell us through the comments your name and where you're watching our content from. We'd love to know. What is autophagy and why it makes sense for you? Let's start with the basics, but in a way that makes total sense to you. Think of your cells as small, ultra-modern factories. These factories work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, producing energy, building proteins, repairing damage. But like every factory, they generate waste. Lots of waste. Proteins that have deformed and no longer function. Damaged DNA fragments. Mitochondria that have become old and inefficient. Fats that have oxidized and become toxic. This cellular garbage isn't just a nuisance. It's extremely dangerous. When it accumulates, something devastating happens. This garbage starts to interfere with the cell's normal functioning. It triggers chronic inflammatory processes. It damages the healthy DNA around it. It creates an environment conducive to the development of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, metabolic conditions like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular problems, and even cancer. Now imagine you never took out the trash from your house. In 1 week, the smell would be unbearable. In 1 month, pests would invade the space. In a few months, the house's structure would begin to deteriorate. The exact same thing happens with your cells, just in slow motion. This is exactly where Dr. Ohsumi's brilliant discovery comes in. He identified that our cells have a built-in cleaning system, a true internal garbage collection service. This system is called autophagy, which in ancient Greek means self-eating. The name may sound strange, but the process is absolutely brilliant. During autophagy, the cell creates small structures called autophagosomes. Think of them as specialized garbage bags. These autophagosomes identify, surround, and literally swallow the damaged parts of the cell. Then they fuse these garbage bags with lysosomes, which are organelles full of powerful digestive enzymes. These enzymes don't just destroy cellular waste, they recycle it. Broken proteins are decomposed into amino acids that can be reused. Fats are transformed into energy. It's a perfect recycling system that nature took millions of years to develop. The problem is that autophagy doesn't work in automatic mode all the time. It needs to be activated. And in the last 50 years, with the epidemic of constant eating, breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, afternoon snack, dinner, late-night meal, most of us keep this system turned off almost permanently. In Okinawa, there's a deeply rooted cultural concept called hara hachi bu. Literally translated, it means belly 80%. It's a simple practice. They eat until they feel 80% full, never completely satiated. But it's not just about quantity. It's about timing, about rhythm, about giving the body the necessary intervals to activate its cleaning and regeneration mechanisms. Researchers who studied the centenarians of Okinawa identified a fascinating pattern. These people naturally create restricted eating windows. They don't nibble on food all day long. The first meal usually happens between 9 and 10 in the morning. The last one rarely goes past 6 or 7 in the evening. This creates a fasting window of 14 to 16 hours every day without conscious effort, just as a natural part of the lifestyle. Modern science now has a name for this: intermittent fasting, specifically the 16/8 protocol. You consume all your daily calories within an 8-hour window and fast for the remaining 16 hours. Does it seem challenging? Consider this. If you finish dinner at 7 in the evening and only eat again at 11 the next day, you've already done a 16-hour fast. And during most of that period, you were sleeping. But after all, how does fasting trigger autophagy? When you eat, especially carbohydrates and proteins, your body releases insulin. Insulin is like a key that opens the doors of cells so glucose can enter and be used as energy. But insulin goes further. It signals to the body that there's abundance, that resources are available, that there's no need to economize or recycle anything. In this state of abundance, autophagy is completely suppressed. Imagine the cell thinks, "Why would I spend energy recycling old parts if I have fresh resources arriving constantly?" But when you stop eating for a prolonged period, generally between 12 and 16 hours, insulin levels drop drastically. Blood glucose stabilizes, the body depletes. It's immediate glycogen reserves. And then the shift happens. Your body enters what scientists call metabolic scarcity mode. It's not hunger, it's not malnutrition. It's simply a state where the body perceives external resources aren't available at the moment. I need to be more efficient with what I already have. At this moment, specific genes linked to longevity and cellular cleansing are activated. Cells begin to cannibalize their own damaged parts. Studies show that after 12 hours of fasting, autophagy begins to increase. Between 16 and 18 hours, it reaches significant levels, and with more prolonged fasts, like 24 to 48 hours, the effects intensify even more. But you don't need extreme fasts. The 16-hour fast, when done consistently, offers profound benefits. During the fast, many Japanese, especially traditional doctors, don't just drink water. They consume specific beverages that don't break the fast, but actually enhance its effects. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will make you age healthily in the long term. The fast enhancers. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara is a perfect example. This Japanese doctor lived to 105 years old and worked actively until 103, doing consultations, writing books, giving lectures. When asked about his longevity secrets, he mentioned a daily practice. During his fasting window, he drank green tea with fresh ginger. Green tea is rich in a polyphenol called epigallocatechin galate, or EGCG. Research published in high-impact scientific journals, including the journal Autophagy itself, demonstrates that EGCG has unique properties. It not only protects cells from oxidative stress, it literally accelerates the autophagy process. EGCG activates a protein called AMPK, which is essentially the cell's energy sensor. When AMPK is activated, it turns off building processes and turns on cleaning and recycling processes. Ginger adds another layer of benefits. Its main active compound, gingerol, is a powerful natural anti-inflammatory. But gingerol does something even more interesting. It improves insulin sensitivity. This means that when you eventually break the fast, your body will need less insulin to process foods, keeping autophagy active longer even after you start eating. The correct way to prepare: heat water to 70 to 80 degrees Celsius, not boiling, because temperatures that are too high destroy some of the beneficial compounds in green tea. Add the green tea and 3 thin slices of fresh ginger. Let it steep for 3 to 5 minutes. Drink slowly, savoring. This beverage will not only suppress the sensation of hunger because the polyphenols interact with satiety hormones, but will put autophagy in turbo mode. The critical moment: how to break the fast correctly. The Japanese follow a golden rule when breaking the fast: high-quality protein, combined with vegetables rich in polyphenols. Let's understand why each element matters. Quality proteins like free-range eggs, wild salmon, or sardines provide essential amino acids that the body cannot produce on its own. But here's the trick. Lean proteins cause a moderate and controlled release of insulin, very different from the aggressive spikes caused by refined carbohydrates. This gradual release allows autophagy to continue functioning at baseline levels even after you've started eating. Vegetables rich in polyphenols are the real secret weapon. Broccoli, spinach, kale, nori seaweed. These vegetables contain compounds that literally trick the cells, making them think they're still in caloric restriction mode. It's a phenomenon called caloric restriction mimetics. Even while eating, cells keep longevity and cellular cleansing genes active. A fascinating study compared populations that consume large amounts of cruciferous vegetables, like the Japanese, with populations that consume few. The difference in colon cancer rates, breast cancer, and cardiovascular diseases is impressive. And one of the explanations is precisely this. Plant polyphenols keep autophagy active even in a fed state. An ideal first meal when breaking the fast: 2 boiled or poached eggs, a generous portion of grilled salmon or sardines, a plate of lightly steamed broccoli seasoned with extra virgin olive oil and garlic, and a cup of green tea. Simple, nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory, and pro-autophagy. The morning mistake that destroys everything. Now we come to the point I promised to reveal. The devastating mistake that 9 out of 10 people make at breakfast. And maybe you made this mistake today without realizing the damage you were causing. The mistake is consuming processed sugar and refined carbohydrates first thing in the morning. White bread, sandwich bread, toast with jelly, orange juice, boxed juice, breakfast cereal, cake, cookies, croissant. These foods provoke a tsunami of insulin in the organism. And when insulin spikes, especially in the morning, when the body is in its most sensitive state, autophagy isn't just paused, it's completely turned off. Think about it. You fasted all night long. Your cells were at the peak of cleaning and renewal, and then, in a matter of minutes, you reverse this entire process. It's like running an entire marathon, and when you're just 100 meters from the finish line, someone pulls you back and makes you start all over again. But there's something even worse. When you consume sugar while fasting, without the protection of fibers, fats, or proteins, the glucose spike is even more pronounced. This creates a systemic inflammatory environment that persists for 4 to 6 hours. During this period, inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein increase, free radicals circulate through the body damaging healthy cells, and blood vessels suffer oxidative stress. The intelligent alternative, the Japanese enzymatic juice. For those who really can't stay completely fasting, there's an intelligent alternative developed by Japanese doctors specializing in preventive medicine. Dr. Hiromi Shinya, a Japanese surgeon who wrote more than 300 books on intestinal and preventive health, developed what he calls enzymatic juice. The recipe is precise: 1 whole organic apple with peel, 2 medium carrots, a piece of fresh ginger approximately 1 centimeter, and the juice of half a Sicilian lemon. Blend everything in a blender with 100 milliliters of filtered water. And here's the important part. Don't strain it. Drink it with all the pulp, with all the fiber. Why is this specific combination so powerful? The apple contains quercetin, a polyphenol that activates the same longevity genes that fasting activates. Studies show that quercetin biologically mimics the effects of caloric restriction. The carrot provides beta-carotene, a precursor of vitamin A essential for cellular health, in addition to soluble fibers that slow sugar absorption and keep glucose levels stable. Ginger intensifies autophagy and reduces inflammation. And the lemon, with its vitamin C and citric compounds, enhances the absorption of all other nutrients. Does this beverage contain sugar? Yes, from the natural sugars in the fruits. But the massive presence of fibers, polyphenols, and phytonutrients completely transforms how this sugar is metabolized. Instead of an aggressive spike, you have a gradual and controlled release of energy. And crucially, the polyphenols present keep autophagy partially active. You may be wondering, does this really work? What results can I expect? Based on clinical studies and consistent reports from people who implemented this protocol, here's what usually happens. In the first 3 to 5 days, you may feel some hunger during the fast, especially if you're used to eating right after waking up. Your body is adapting to the new metabolic routine. But something interesting happens. Hunger comes in waves. It doesn't progressively intensify. If you wait 15 to 20 minutes drinking water or green tea, the hunger usually passes. Between days 7 and 14, most people report a notable increase in mental clarity in the morning. This happens because the brain, while fasting, begins to use ketones as fuel, a type of energy much cleaner and more efficient than glucose. Many describe a sensation of mental fog being lifted. After 21 days, 3 complete weeks, the benefits begin to accumulate visibly. People report significant reduction in chronic joint pain, especially in the knees and hands. Sleep quality improves, with less frequent nighttime awakenings. There's a notable loss of abdominal fat, even without severe caloric restriction. The skin frequently becomes more luminous and uniform. And here's something fascinating. Blood tests from people who followed this protocol for 3 months show improvements in markers, like fasting glucose, glycated hemoglobin, triglycerides, oxidized LDL cholesterol, and inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein. How to start tomorrow? Making your protocol practical. Here's exactly how you can start tomorrow. Finish your last meal today by 7 in the evening. It can be a normal dinner, but avoid sugary desserts or large amounts of refined carbohydrates. Upon waking tomorrow morning, drink a large glass of water at room temperature. Prepare your green tea with ginger as we described. If you feel intense hunger, prepare the enzymatic juice of apple, carrot, ginger, and lemon. At 11 or noon, break your fast with the meal we described. Quality protein, vegetables rich in polyphenols, a bit of healthy fat like olive oil or avocado. During the day, you can have 1 or 2 more meals, but keep them within the eating window. The last meal should be by 7 again. Do this consistently for 21 days. It doesn't need to be perfect. If one day you need to have dinner later or lunch earlier, there's no problem. What matters is consistency over time, not absolute perfection every single day. And let it be clear, autophagy isn't a passing fad or a quick weight loss trick. You don't need to buy anything expensive. You don't need exotic supplements. All you need is to adjust when you eat, what you eat, and give your body the time it needs to do the cleaning that keeps you functioning optimally. It's a fundamental biological process that your body was designed to execute, but that modern life has suppressed. The Japanese, with their ancestral wisdom refined over generations, found natural ways to keep this system active. So now, I'd like to ask that if you know someone over 50 years old suffering from chronic inflammation, persistent joint pain, constant fatigue, or mental fog, share this video. You could be giving that person the missing key to transform their quality of life. Remember, aging is inevitable, but how you age, with vitality or with decline, is a choice you make every day, starting with your next meal. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching until here, and may God bless you, my friend.